Welcome to Easy Coloring with Nisi. All right, I have decided to kind of start a series of videos where I share with you some of my go-to methods and techniques of coloring easy, fast, quick, effective, efficient, and beautiful. As you know or may not know, a lot of us in the coloring community have hand problems, and using our colored pencils and certain materials can really cause hand fatigue and pain. So, recently in one of my Facebook groups, someone was commenting that they just started coloring and they are experiencing intense hand pain where they have to take like a 2 week break from coloring because their hands were hurting so much. So I really want to share with you how I deal with coloring and how to quickly and easily get pictures done and do things that lessen our experiences with pain issues. So, one of my favorite materials to use is, of course, a lot of you may already know that I am absolutely in love with my Tritone pencils. And some of you have Tritone pencils and are like, I really don't know what to do with those pencils. They're very different and I don't know what to do with them. So, as you've seen or may have not seen in some of my previous videos, I love the particular pencil Earth Tone. Now, this pencil only comes in the largest set, which is the 24 set. So you can't get it in the smaller set, the 12 set. But the 12 set does have the pencil Tiger, which I do use for some lighter wood tone colors. But I absolutely love my earth tone for most of my woodwork. And you know, there's woodwork in all of our coloring pages, just about whether it's a branch, a tree, a table, a chair, or just a rock that needs to look wood colored or brown or something like that. But we pretty much experience that in just about all of our coloring pictures. So I already have a tutorial showing you how I did these two uh, things right here. These two items, the cup and the bowl, easy shading and shadowing, and how to blend and add dimension to your coloring. Very easy and simple, just by the colors you choose. So I will link that video. If you missed that, I will link that above so you can go back to it. But we're going to pretty much be focusing on this entire picture. Maybe we can finish this picture together. Or once I show you one element, we will just move to another element in another video, and you can just continue on with that one element that I showed you. So today we're going to be focusing on the wood, some of the wood, and we are going to be using the earth tones and the tritone by Kohinoor, and I will probably show you how to add depth and dimension to that by using some of the Polycolor, because the Kohinoor Tritone pencils and the Polycolor actually have a lot of the same, well, they do have the exact same components in their makeup. So you can mix those two pencils without any problems. Also, I have the full set of the Blick Studio. Well, not the full set. I don't have the gray set, I think. And there's another set, but it ends up being 100 pencils. But I only have the 72 full set. And I'm not sure what pencils I'm missing. But someone also mentioned that they wanted to see more people use the Blick pencils in their coloring. And actually, I believe the Blick Studio pencils and the Kohinoor pencils are pretty much the exact same components, even though the Kohinoor pencils claim to be a polycolor oil-based color pencil. I don't know if they really claim that or if we just coined it in the coloring community because they say polycolor. But the Blick Studios say that they are wax based, but they color and perform the exact same. And they're both made in the Czech Republic, and their colors coincide exactly pretty much. So I'm thinking they may be the same pencil. So I actually, if I don't have a color in my 24 Polycolor Kohinoor pencils, I'll just go into my Blick Studio and get the color from there, and they mix well with the tritones. But these tritones and the Blick Studio and the Kohinoor, they do not mix well or do not play well with Prismacolor. So that should tell you a little something, that they must have a little more oil in them than the Prismacolors do. So I am ready to do some coloring with you. Now we will be coloring this page out of Country Charm by Teresa Goodridge, not the Goodrich Tire Company. All right, and one quick tip that I would like to mention about the Kohinoor Tritone pencils is you actually don't have to sharpen them very often. I actually like them to be kind of dull because the colors seem to vary more easily when the pencil is a little bit duller. But if it's sharp, you get the same color over and over again until the lead wears down. So just to preserve your pencil, you don't have to keep sharpening it over and over again. Only if you plan to like go in a tight space, and usually I don't use my tritone pencil for tight spaces. I usually use just a regular color pencil for tight spaces and so forth, but we will see a demonstration of that. But just because I'm in the mood for sharpening, I'm going to sharpen it just a little bit. Yeah, that's perfect. Not super sharp, but not super dull. So let's zoom you in a bit. And let's get started. Let's see, maybe on the shelf here. Now, one thing I like to tell ones who are using the Kohinoor Tritone pencils is your pencil strokes and the direction of your pencil strokes actually can change the entire dimension of the way your picture looks, or the object that you're coloring, the way it looks. So what we're going to do with this shelf, as you can see right here where I have this line, or where I'm making this imaginary line, that needs to go in a different direction than this bottom portion, because I want a definite differentiation between those two sections of the shelf to make it look like 2D or 3D and not just one dimensional. So what we're going to do is on this top half, we're going to go with straight horizontal strokes. And then at this bottom half, we're going to follow like this line here on the side of the shelf. We're going to go in vertical, kind of diagonal strokes with our pencil. So let's get a demonstration of that going. And then where you see like these different like little markings where she has kind of given you like a guide, if you're using like regular colored pencils, where you can actually add color and make it look more wood tone. So I can show you with a Prismacolor how to do wood tones, and I have shown that in a previous video, but I am focusing on quick, easy. One pencil can do all the work, but sometimes I like to go a little bit extra. So the point, it's very important if you are using the Tritone, Kohinoor Tritone pencils, to have a heavy hand. These pencils were not created for light hand and layers. If you have a light hand, you're not going to get the saturation of color down in the right way because of the way these pencils are made. They're created for you to be heavy-handed and to do pretty much one layer. If you do multiple layers with these pencils, then you're going to get a muddy color. It's going to muddy up and it's not going to be like definite wood grain separation. So look how the colors are varying in just that one pencil in that quick time. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go in a diagonal side view, so to speak. And I think I want to start over here. And don't worry about going out of the lines. Just don't get too close to your object because you can always come in and fill that in later, which you will see. Well, actually, sometimes what I like to do is just have kind of a light hand and just kind of put a little layer here so that I won't have to go out of the lines too much. And now I'm going to get my heavy hand back. It's like I'm going to the store and retrieving my heavy hand again. Hey, I'd like to return my light hand and I'd like to do an exchange and get my heavy hand, please. Oh my goodness. Okay, so that is that. Can you see what's happened here? It's not too obvious on this picture or this object as it is when I have something does not have these markings and the little circles and so forth. But you will see once we get another color pencil how it all goes together. So we will get the blender pencil by Kohinoor. I only use this blender pencil by Kohinoor with the Kohinoor Tritones because I'm not fond of it. It's very dry and scratchy. It's a lot like the Prismacolor blender pencil. The Prismacolor colorless blender is nothing like the actual Prismacolor lead. So make sure your tip is clean. If there is a different color on the tip, you don't want to mix colors, but I only use this for wood tones anyway. So be very, very light-handed with any blender pencil. Use a very light hand because if you don't use a light hand, you will scratch up the color. And I only go in the places where there's white portions showing. I don't go over the entire thing because I want to keep those lines that I've made in the wood grain. Now, for the part where you are going to be showing dimension, we are going to get, let's see, I want this dark brown. Sometimes I will use the black, but this time I'm going to just use the dark brown at this moment. No, I think I will use the black. Take this black pencil, and where you see this edge, you know that this shelf has a line like right here. If you need a ruler, then get you a ruler. But you know this shelf has a line right there because that's the ledge or the edge of that shelf. And I think I want to just put a line up here also. Okay. So it's now starting to look like two dimension. Now I'm going to take my dark brown and I am going to color a darker color right under that black because I want it to look like this is the bottom of that shelf. That's giving it the shadow. And I also want to make it a little bit darker right here also. All right. Now just to lighten up this top portion just a little bit, I am going to take this dark ochre and just color in some of the areas that have the yellow area just to brighten it up a little bit. And that's done. Can't you see the dimension in that? It actually looks like a shelf that is two dimension and not just one dimensional. All right, so let's see, let's do one more. Where should we do that? One more. Let's do this part down here. Right here, this up and down leg. Now it doesn't have like, it's not round or anything, so what we can do for that one is just let me color my edges with a lighter hand so I won't go out of the line too badly. Okay, now we will just, and another tip, when you're using these tritone pencils, color a little bit, then lift your pencil and turn your barrel so that you can get a different variation of the color. If you have that one color coming down, being put down a little bit too much, lift your pencil, put down another color. Now look at that woodwork with those varying colors that we created in a matter of minutes. Now you are going to take your dark brown and do your shadows right underneath the cabinet. We know there is a shadow there. And it takes a little heavy hand, hard pressure with these Polycolor pencils because they're, to me, the Polycolor by Kohinoor, they're not very pigmented. To me, they don't have a lot of pigment in them like the Faber-Castell Polychromos and the Prismacolor. Even like the Starjoy pencils, I feel have more pigment than these Polycolor by Kohinoor. So I'm just taking that dark brown and just putting it in different spots to kind of show a little bit more texture. And now I'm going to take my dark ochre and go in some of these areas where the light wood is. And that's it. That's it. You know what? Let's do this part here also very quickly because I mean, hey, it's super quick, right? What I'm going to do this time is I'm just going to kind of outline that little zigzag area there. Now I'm going to do my edges with light to medium pressure so I won't go out of the line too bad. Now I'm going to fill in those areas. All right, Now let's take our dark brown and we're going to have a shadow up here because this is underneath the cabinet. So I have my shadow right there. I have my shadow right here beside this ledge here, and I want a shadow right here. Okay, now let's get our dark ochre and go in some of these spaces that are lighter. All right, now while we're at it, hey, we're on a roll. Let's just go ahead and finish it by doing this teeny weeny area right here. If you're on a roll, why stop now? All right, let's get our dark brown. Put a little bit of color right there. Put a little bit of color right here. Put a little bit of color right here. And I actually want to use my black and kind of outline these circles that the artist has put here to really show wood. And I want to outline a few of these lines. Sometimes you have to go in and add different things to your picture once you see that they're not quite the way you like them. You can always go back and add things. Now, this is a portion of the, what is this? Like, and this is not an island. This is a not cabinet. This is a counter, the counter space. This is actually a portion of it. So now I'm going to show you how the Tritone pencil looks when you're coloring something that does not have these predetermined circles and lines of wood. What I would do for this section is I will go at a diagonal. First, let me do my edges right here with a light hand so that I won't have to worry about going out of the line, because I will go out of the line in a minute. So let's go at a diagonal, and you're going to see, and lift your pencil up, turn the barrel, lift your pencil up, turn the barrel. You're going to see, look at how that diagonal, look how that looks. Doesn't that look like an amazing woodwork? So now I'm going to take my blender pencil and very lightly go on these edges that look a little bit white or that where there's no color. Now I will take my black pencil there, take my dark brown pencil, give it a little bit of shadow on these edges. Now that is a fabulous looking woodwork. Now imagine that carried all the way around in all the areas where our picture has wood areas. So we have done a shelf and we have done this portion. So in the next video, this all should be done and we will work on something else. Okay? So thank you so much for tuning in. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you love adult coloring, please give this video a thumbs up and consider subscribing. If you like the content that I'm giving to you, please consider subscribing to the channel. And I thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next episode. See you later, my dollar divas and dollar dudes.